So I'm here with Sarah Gill, who's on the board, Flobots.org, and if you can see through the window, there's actually the little Flobots.org posters showing through with minimum glare. And here's the entire news site. Is that too cool or what? We're on Larimer, right between Meadowlark and Larimer Lounge. And Sarah, tell me a little bit about how the opportunity arose to move from the back of a senior center to, big-time Larimer.
We happen to have a fabulous executive director in Laura Bond, who knows her way around the community and is a visionary person. And she saw the potential for this to be really rooted in the Denver community, in a space that would speak to the community and would serve the community. For example, Progressive Veterans meets here, and we have hopes that lots of different groups will meet here, and this will be a space for the community to come together, because this may not be the 5-minute elevator speech that we have, but for me, Flobots.org is all about building community. It's about civic engagement and serving the community and social justice, and it's about community.
Now, one thing that I asked Laura, it's very easy for Jamie to say, well, this will be whatever the community wants it to be, but, there was a center of gravity in 2008, DNC and everything else. How do you define what the center of gravity of the new community center is going to be and make plans for 2009 and beyond?
I think the center of gravity is values. We have values that we set out on the website, and those values came from the band.
Yeah.
They're rooted in the band's experience, and we were talking about how to replicate this in other cities, and I kind of thought the band was exceptional and that it wasn't something you could generalize from.
Right.
And Jamie said, no, there are great bands like this, there are great folks like this all over the country. We can do the exact same thing in Chicago. There's a band that has the same values, the same sense of community, the same care for each other, the same commitment in every town in the country. These things exist, these people exist, and these the young people, the people who want to get engaged exist. We're hoping to find a way to put them together.
But if you think about the way that Jamie and Stefan and Andy and everybody else in the band make it seem real natural to move from talking about change to doing something, it's not so much fear as it is like lack of knowing what to do, that a lot of bands in different cities, they'll really want to do a lot of work but not know how to make the first step.
Well, see, for them, and I'm not in the band, but what I see from the outside, for them the first step is how they relate to each other.
Right.
Their first step is not going out and getting fans to register voters. Their first step is, how do we relate to each other? Who are the elders in our community that we look to? What do we do when we have a problem? We engage the conflict center to help us figure out how we want to be together. That's the first step. The first step is inside, in relationships. And to me, that's what Flobots.org and Fight with Tools is about. It's about relationships. How does a local community decide what it wants to work on? Somebody wants to work on A, somebody wants to work on B, but they want to come together, and it's about hashing that out and learning together and being together and making hard decisions. And it's hard. Community is hard. But I think the band has demonstrated that community works.
I saw a lot of people, in like late teens, early 20s who saw Milk for the first time and said, holy shit, things don't get done in the space of 18 months. They get done in the space of your whole lifetime. Mm-hmm. And do you find that it's hard or it's energizing to tell people this isn't for 2 weeks, it's for the rest of your life, Well,
and I think that's true. It's hard. I think that's one of the things that we've discovered in working. I'm an older activist, and I have learned what it means to get burned out, to compromise your health, to compromise your relationships for a movement, and that doesn't get us anywhere.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what I've done. I felt like my role has been to say, slow down, slow down, slow down, which is a weird thing to do because we've got all these people with so much energy, and part of it is they're 25 and they've got so much energy.
Sure.
But part of it is just saying, it's not just about the movement. The movement is about me and my family and my community, and I can't abandon those for the movement. I have to put them together.
Right.
And that's what I hope. I think we're going through a process of hopefully people learning that, but say more quickly than I learned that.
Yeah, yeah.
And less painfully.
Yeah. And I think that there's this sense here that whatever else happens around you, every day is fun anyway. You know, you don't have to take this attitude of the world being such a cruel place or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing. I'm really excited that people go to a show, and that's how I get rejuvenated.
Yeah.
The work we do is not easy. Life is not easy. But I go to a show, and life is fabulous. Regardless of any of the other things around it, life is fabulous. And so I'm really glad that folks go to a show, and life is fabulous. And then they take away something additional from it. It's not just that this is a great show. It's a great show, and it moves me along in my work to make the world whole.
Yeah, yeah, very definitely. Well, congratulations. This is Sarah Gill. She's on the Flobots board. She works with AFSC. She's a modern wonder of Denver, and thanks a lot. So we say goodbye to the Flobots.